Welcome to Live Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Karen.
Hi everybody, I am Shane, and today we are looking at day 2 of David and Goliath.
That's right, the giant, right? Goliath is the giant that is 3 meters tall, and David is just the shepherd boy.
Yeah, and we know that Goliath is pretty mean. He insults them, he insults their God, and he's shouting at them, and he's trying to intimidate them. He sounds like quite a bully.
I think
right?
he does sound like a bully, and the Israelites are so scared of him because of his size. No one thinks that they can actually, take on Goliath and fight him.
Yeah. Well, I think like in today's society, we still have a problem with bullies.
That's right, definitely.
In this case, we have David standing up for himself and using really a weapon to hurt Goliath. But I don't think this day and age, it's good that you use a weapon to fight and hurt each other. There's better ways to deal with the situation. But this was a war.
That's right.
We're just talking about maybe at school or something like that. So I know that you're a teacher. What do you suggest or what do you do if you see kids are getting bullied?
Well, as a teacher, I would teach the kids, for the victim, for someone who is being picked on, then you have to stand up for yourself. But standing up for yourself does not mean that you have to go and fight, the bully. Because if you start a fight, both parties will end up getting hurt, and we don't want to see that. But if you are facing a bully, you can always tell them no. Please don't do that, and you can go and ask for help. There's always a solution, but never try to take everything in and hide, the fact that you're being bullied. Because if you're scared, and the bully will keep coming back to you, and you will not get the help that you need.
And the more scared you are, the more you get bullied too.
Exactly.
So it's pretty important to stand up for yourself, just as David stood up to Goliath.
Exactly. And then don't forget to seek help as well.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into day 2 of David and Goliath.
Goliath laughed when he saw David approach. Goliath was a giant and a trained soldier, so he insulted David for coming to fight with only a sling and no armor. But David never backed down. As soon as he stepped into battle, nothing could stop him. He picked up a stone, prepared his sling, took aim, and fired. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath on the forehead. The giant fell face down on the ground and died instantly. After the Philistine army saw that a boy defeated their giant with ease, they were filled with fear. They turned and ran in panic. With nothing but his ordinary tools and fearless determination, David won the day.
So we're looking at day 2 of our story, David and Goliath today, and we're going to find out what happens in the end.
Right. We're going to find out what happens when David stands up to Goliath.
That's right.
So let's find out what happens. Goliath laughed when he saw David approach. Just this little shepherd boy, right? Goliath was a giant and a trained soldier. So he insulted David for coming to fight with only a sling and no armor. Well, I think that if I were this giant too, I would probably think, this silly little kid, all he has is just a sling. So he approached him. So to approach means to get closer to something or someone, in this case, right? To get closer to Goliath. So an example sentence would be, the train approached the station 5 minutes late.
But I really do admire David's courage, having that courage to stand up to Goliath. Okay, so what does David do now that the giant is laughing? Let's continue. But David never backed down. So even though the giant is laughing at him, saying, you only got a sling and you have no armor. But David never backed down. As soon as he stepped into battle, nothing could stop him. Wow. So he never backed down, meaning that he never got scared and he didn't run away.
Right. Or even step back and...
That's right. So he's very determined.
Very brave.
Nothing could stop him. He is going to fight the giant.
So what does he do? He picked up a stone, prepared his sling, took aim, and fired. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath on the forehead.
Ouch.
So perfect shot,
That's right. That's a really good aim.
Yes, that's good aim.
Now the giant fell face down on the ground and died instantly. Wow, that must have been a very, very hard hit because he died right away. When you say died instantly, that's an adverb. Instantly means happening or done immediately without any delay. So for example, you can say, I fell asleep instantly when I arrived home. That means you open the door, you walked in and go, and then you fall asleep right away, instantly. So the giant is dead.
The giant is dead.
Wow.
So, that's right. So David was able to conquer the giant with his bravery.
Exactly.
And his skill with his sling. All right, let's go ahead and cut to Hanny and we'll be right back.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 今天要继续读 David and Goliath。大卫与歌利亚的故事。歌利亚看到大卫走靠近时，他大笑了起来。巨人歌利亚是个受过训练的士兵，他看到大卫只带着投石索，没有盔甲就来应战，于是就羞辱他。但是大卫并没有退缩，他一踏上战场就势不可挡，捡起一颗石头，准备好投石索，瞄准发射，石头就击中了歌利亚的额头。那他这时候脸朝下倒在地上，当场毙命。好，来看单字 approach。approach 是动词，表示接近、走近。Instantly 这个副词则表示立刻、马上。那么文中还有用到 back down， 这表示退缩、打退堂鼓的意思。那我们接着回到课文中。
Okay, continuing the story. After the Philistine army saw that a boy defeated their giant with ease, they were filled with fear. They turned and ran in panic. So panic means feeling really, really scared or worried all of a sudden. So they see this happen and then all of a sudden they're very, very worried because...
Oh no, what's David going to do now? Is he going to kill all of us?
This little shepherd was able to kill our giant. Imagine what the rest of this army can do. So of course they had a feeling of panic. Okay, so an example would be the fire caused panic in the town.
A lot of times that would happen because people usually wouldn't know what to do in case of fire. So everyone would be panicking.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. With nothing but his ordinary tools and fearless determination, David won the day. So he only had his sling, and then he had his normal clothes. He only had his ordinary tools. That means his normal tools. Nothing too fancy, nothing too dangerous or powerful.
That's right.
And fearless determination. He was determined. He set his mind to it. He was not scared. David won the day.
Yep. So to win the day just means to be victorious.
Right.
To win. You can use this expression. To win the day means to basically win something very big. Right? All right, let's go ahead and go to Hanny and we'll be right back.
非利士军队看到一个男孩这么轻易就击败他们的巨人，他们充满了恐惧，转身惊慌地逃跑。那么大卫只凭着普通的工具还有无畏的决心就获得了胜利。文中用到 win the day， 在这边是指在战斗比赛当中来获胜取得胜利，它也可以比喻像是意见看法有获得支持或者是克服困难的意思。那么这时候 Shane 老师有用到 victorious 这个形容词 victorious victorious 可以形容获胜的胜利的。那么课文单字 panic 在这边当名词表示恐慌惊慌失措，那么副词片语 in panic 就可以表达惊慌的那种意思。接回课文中。
Okay, and now we're back. So with David's courage and bravery, he was able to defeat Goliath. That is pretty impressive, right?
Yeah, definitely very impressive. So he's a brave young man and he had a strong determination and was able to kill the giant.
Exactly.
All right, why don't we go to the second part of the story and we'll be right back after the break.
David's victory over Goliath offers many lessons. First, courage is key. Fear of Goliath caused the entire Israelite army to give up hope, but David's firm belief gave him the strength to be brave. Additionally, the story encourages us to do what's right, even when it feels impossible.
Welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we were looking at the story of David and Goliath. And at the beginning, we were looking at how Goliath was laughing at David because he had no armor. He didn't have a really good weapon. He only had his sling, right?
Right.
But just because Goliath was laughing at David, David did not back down. He was very determined that he was going to fight Goliath. So he took his sling and then he shot his rock right on the forehead of Goliath. And he died instantly.
Wow.
That was pretty impressive. So the Philistines were very, very scared and terrified of David, right? Exactly. So what's going to happen now?
Okay, so David's victory over Goliath offers many lessons. First, courage is key. Right? So if you have courage in the face of any situation in life, it is going to be a lot of help to you.
Exactly.
Right? Don't be afraid of situations. Use your courage.
That's right. And then I think having courage, sometimes it does not necessarily mean that you're not scared, but it's usually when you are scared, but you don't back down.
Right.
Right? Okay, so fear of Goliath caused the entire Israelite army to give up hope. But David's firm belief gave him the strength to be brave. So like I said, he had the firm belief. He was very determined because he set his mind to it, said, no one is going to treat my God or people like that, and I am going to defeat Goliath. It's the firm belief that he tells himself that gave him the strength.
Strength. So what is strength?
Okay, so strength, that is a noun. Strength means having the ability to do things that take a lot of effort, like lifting heavy things or being mentally strong.
Or fighting a giant.
Exactly, and you have to be mentally strong for that. It's also about having the power to resist something, like physical force or an attack. So for example, you can say, Fred needed a lot of strength to make the decision.
Okay, continuing the story. Additionally, the story encourages us to do what's right, even when it feels impossible. All right, so doing the right thing in any situation, no matter how impossible it feels.
And sometimes I think doing the right thing, it's the most difficult thing to do, but we still have to stick to it.
Yeah, okay. And additionally means also or in addition to something. right? So for example, Olivia speaks German. Additionally, she's learning French. So additionally is an adverb. All right, why don't we go ahead and cut to Hanny?
课文最后总结这个故事背后的教训。首先，勇气是关键。对歌利亚的恐惧让整个以色列军放弃了希望，但是大卫坚定的信念给他勇敢的力量。此外，这个故事也鼓励我们，即使感觉不可能，也要做对的事。好，我们来看看单字 strength。strength 这个名词，它可以表达内心的力量或是意志力。Additionally 副词表示此外而且。那文中还有用到 The story encourages us to do what's right， 表达这个故事鼓励我们做对的事。其中 what's right 是 what is right 的缩写，指的是对的事、正确的事。那这边我们来介绍一下 what 引导名词子句。What 主词加动词，或者是 what 加动词，像这样的结构可以拿来当主词、受词或是补语用。What 在这边是复合关系代名词，相当于 the thing that 或是 the things that。那我们这边造两个例句。第一个例句 ，What I need is some peace and quiet。我需要的是片刻的安静。那么名词子句 What I need 是当主词，要把它视为单数哦，所以后面搭配单数动词 is。第二个例句 Do you know what's in the box？ 你知道盒子里有什么吗？那名词子句 What's in the box 在这边是当受词，也就是动词 know 的受词。好，那我们继续回到课文中。
Okay, now we are back. And we do have a what do you think question. So let me ask you, Shane, why do you think David refused to use the sword and armor? He only wanted to use his sling, but the sword is more powerful and the armor can really protect him. Why do you think he refused to use them?
Well, one reason I can think of is that he's a really small boy.
Yes.
And I bet you the sword was quite heavy. And probably the armor was made for adults.
True.
Right? So probably he wouldn't really be able to fit in this armor, and he has a sword. He's not used to those things. So when he was offered them, he probably thought, well, it's just going to hold me back.
That's right.
Actually, I have my sling, and I am very, very good with my sling. So having this sword and this armor, the armor is going to make me weighed down, and the sword is going to be heavy. Probably I don't need them.
That's right. And he maybe wants something that he feels comfortable in, right? Yeah. He uses the sling all the time to protect his sheep from the lions and the bears. So if he always practices or uses a sling, that means he will be very good at using the sling.
Or maybe he's just so tough, he's like, I don't need any of that. I'm just going to just use my sling.
I can say that he was definitely very confident.
Yeah, he's a brave guy. Okay, why don't we go ahead, review the story again, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Goliath laughed when he saw David approach. Goliath was a giant and a trained soldier, so he insulted David for coming to fight with only a sling and no armor. But David never backed down. As soon as he stepped into battle, nothing could stop him. He picked up a stone, prepared his sling, took aim, and fired. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath on the forehead. The giant fell face down on the ground and died instantly. After the Philistine army saw that a boy defeated their giant with ease, they were filled with fear. They turned and ran in panic. With nothing but his ordinary tools and fearless determination, David won the day. David's victory over Goliath offers many lessons. First, courage is key. Fear of Goliath caused the entire Israelite army to give up hope, but David's firm belief gave him the strength to be brave. Additionally, the story encourages us to do what's right, even when it feels impossible.
最后，我们来复习今天课文里的单字文法。单字的部分有 approach 动词表示接近、走近 ，instantly 副词表示立刻、马上 Panic 当名词表示恐慌、惊慌失措。Strength 名词可以表达内心的力量或意志力。Additionally 这个副词则表示此外，而且。那文法的部分，我们学到 what 引导的名词子句 ，what 主词加动词，或者是用 what 加动词，它就可以当主词、受词或是补语用。那么注意 what 在这边是当复合关系代名词，相当于 the thing that 或者是 the things that。好，那以上就是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Welcome to the 5-second painting challenge. Today, Winnie and I will take turns adding to a painting, but each of us only gets 5 seconds each round. We will be prompted by a mystery sentence. After 2 rounds each, can you guess what we're painting? Okay, before we begin though, we need to prepare the materials that we need. So, you need a blank canvas, and of course you need paint. And to hold that paint, we will be using our trusty palette, and most importantly, our paintbrushes. Let's go! Okay, we've got everything ready, so we're ready to start. Prompt, please. Okay. You're first. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, so I'm gonna use some green. Time's up! Oh no! My turn! Okay. Hold on. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! 3, 4, 5. Okay, ready? Hold on. 3, 2, 1, go. 4, 5, go. Okay, hold on. 3, 2, 1, go. 4, 5. Oh, that's it. Oh no! That's it. What did we draw? What did we paint? Oh no. Well, it's time for the big reveal. Ta-da! Huh? What did we draw? If you couldn't guess, I'll show you the prompt. That's all we have for today. Remember to follow us on Instagram and send us a DM or an email if you have something you want to say in English but you just don't know how. Kiki, do you have anything to say? What are you going to challenge us to do next time? KiWi later!